All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. Government assures farmers that procurement at minimum support price will continue, says Mandis and APMC will be strengthened. Interministerial central team to begin visiting Cyclone Nivar affected areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry from today. Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 64th Mahaparinirvan Divas. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.28% in the country. And in cricket, India to take on Australia in the second 2020 in Sydney today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news. The next and 6th round of meeting between the central government and representatives of farmers' unions will be held on the 9th of December. The 5th round of talks to address the issues concerning the farmers was held at Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi yesterday. Talking to reporters after the meeting, Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar reassured the farmers' unions that the system of minimum support price MSP will continue and there is no threat to it.
एमएसपी जारी रहेगी। एमएसपी पर किसी भी प्रकार का खतरा और इस पर शंका करना बेबुनियाद है, लेकिन फिर भी किसी के मन में कोई शंका है, सरकार उसका समाधान करने के लिए पूरी तरह तैयार है। एपीएमसी एक्ट राज्य का है और राज्य की मंडी को किसी भी प्रकार से प्रभावित करने का इरादा न तो हमारा है और न ही कानूनी रूप से वो प्रभावित होती है। एपीएमसी और मजबूत हो इस दिशा में सरकार के लिए जो करनी है वह करने के लिए भी सरकार तैयार है।
Mr. Tomar reiterated that government's commitment to the welfare of the farmers. He said the government is ready to hold talks with the farmers to resolve the issues. He appealed to the protesting farmers to withdraw their protest.
हम लोग चाहते थे कि कुछ विषयों पर स्पष्टता से कुछ सुझाव हमें मिल जाएं, लेकिन बातचीत के दौर में ये संभव नहीं हो सका। अब 9 तारीख को पुनः ये बैठक होगी और हमने किसानों को कहा है कि सरकार आपके सभी पहलुओं पर विचार करेगी और हमारी कोशिश होगी कि समाधान का रास्ता हम खोजें, लेकिन समाधान का रास्ता खोजने में यह उपयुक्त होता कि किसान नेताओं के भी कुछ सुझाव मिल जाते तो हमको रास्ता निकालना थोड़ा आसान होता। अभी भी हम उसका इंतजार करेंगे।
The Agriculture Minister reassured the farmers' unions that Narendra Modi government is fully committed to the interest of farmers and will remain so in the future. He said in the last 6 years, major reforms have been undertaken under the leadership of Mr. Modi in the agriculture sector.
मैं यह आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार किसानों के प्रति पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध थी, है और आने वाले कल में भी रहेगी। अगर आप 6 वर्ष मोदी जी के कार्यकाल में कृषि के क्षेत्र को देखेंगे तो मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आमूलचूल परिवर्तन किया गया है। इसमें किसान की आमदनी में बढ़ोतरी हुई है, योजनाएं बनी है, बजट बढ़ा है, एमएसपी बढ़ी है, सरकारी खरीद बढ़ी है और किसान महंगी फसलों की ओर आकर्षित हो सकें, किसान टेक्नोलॉजी से जुड़ सकें और किसान समृद्धि की ओर बढ़ सकें। इस मामले में मोदी जी की सरकार ने ऐतिहासिक रूप से काम किया है।
He said several agricultural schemes have been implemented, income of farmers have been increased, agricultural budget and MSP has also been raised.
हिंदुस्तान इस बात का साक्षी है कि एकमात्र योजना अगर प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि को ही हम लें, एक साल में किसानों की जेब में भारत सरकार के खजाने से 75,000 करोड़ रुपया जाता है। यह काम मोदी जी के ही बस का था और मोदी जी ने 10 करोड़ किसानों को अभी तक 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक उनके खातों में भेजने का काम किया है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड 1 लाख करोड़ का यह भी मोदी जी ने प्रावधान किया है और मोदी जी की लगातार कोशिश है कि हमारा किसान प्रोसेसिंग से जुड़े। जब तक उसके उत्पादन का वैल्यू एडिशन नहीं होगा तब तक वह अपने फसल का अच्छा दाम प्राप्त नहीं कर पाएगा और इसलिए मोदी जी की कोशिश है कि अगर ग्रामीण भारत मजबूत होगा, कृषि का क्षेत्र मजबूत होगा, किसान समृद्ध होगा तो आने वाले कल में आत्मनिर्भर भारत मूर्त रूप ले सकेगा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the construction work of Agra Metro project at 11:30 am tomorrow through video conferencing. The Agra Metro project comprises of 2 corridors with a total length of 29.4 kilometers and connects major tourist attractions like the Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Sikandra with railway stations and bus stands. The project will benefit 26 lakh population of the city of Agra and will also cater to more than 60 lakh tourists who visit Agra every year. It will provide an environment-friendly mass rapid transit system to the historical city of Agra. The estimated cost of the project will be over 8,379 crore rupees, which will be completed in 5 years. Agra Metro is also designed in such a way that it will provide environment-friendly, comfortable, hassle-free connectivity to 4 major railway stations, bus depots, colleges, schools, offices, residential areas, commercial places, malls and tourist spots of the city. Union Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs Hardeep Singh Puri, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath and other dignitaries will also attend the event that will be held at 15 Battalion PAC Parade Ground in Agra. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone of the new proposed Parliament building in New Delhi on the 10th of this month. Addressing media in New Delhi, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that the new building is being constructed keeping in mind the need of next 100 years. He said the new Parliament building is being constructed at a cost of 971 crore rupees, which will house more committee rooms and political party offices than the existing Parliament House.
ये नया भवन भी भारतीय शिल्पकारों के द्वारा आत्मनिर्भर भारत, स्वदेशी, सब देश की, अलग अलग देश की विविधताओं की, अलग अलग महत्वपूर्ण वस्तुएं और कई अलग अलग प्रदेश की अपनी अपनी वहाँ की कलाकृतियां, वहाँ की विशेष रूप से वहाँ की अपनी द्वारा अपने शिल्पकारों के द्वारा बनाई हुई कई हस्तशिल्प की वस्तुएं भी यहाँ पर लगेगी, उनकी कलाकृतियों को भी यहाँ दर्शाएंगे.
He said it will be 17,000 square meter bigger than the old Parliament building. Mr. Birla said that when the country will celebrate its 75th Independence Day in 2022, the sittings of Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha will be held in the new Parliament building.
ये हमारा नया संसद भवन बनेगा जो हम सबके लिए गौरव का प्रतीक होगा, क्योंकि यहाँ से हमने पुराने संसद भवन से हमारी आजादी की यात्रा शुरू की थी. जब आजादी के 75 वर्ष होंगे तब हम नए संसद भवन के अंदर जो हमारे गौरवपूर्ण इतिहास का लोकतंत्र का मंदिर होगा, वहाँ हम सदन की दोनों सभाएं वहाँ पर शुरू करेंगे.
In order to enhance passenger convenience for the people of Kolkata, Kolkata Metro has decided to run additional services and extend timings of its services from tomorrow. Metro Railway Kolkata will run 204 daily services instead of 190 services from Monday to Saturday. In a tweet, Minister of Railways Piyush Goyal commended Kolkata Metro for extending its services. According to Railway Ministry, the first service will start from both ends from Damdam and Kovi Subhash at 7 am instead of 8 am and from Noapara at 7:09 am instead of 8:09 am. The last service will leave Kovi Subhash and Damdam at 9:30 pm instead of 9 pm and from Noapara at 9:25 pm instead of 8:55 pm. Services will be available in every 7 minutes during morning and evening peak hours. The ministry said for senior citizens, ladies and children below 15 years, e-pass will not be required throughout the day. For all other passengers, e-pass will not be required in between 7 am and 8:30 am in the morning and 8 pm onwards in the evening. No token will be issued and only smart card shall be used. The members of the Interministerial Central Team deputed to evaluate the damages caused by Cyclone Nivar in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry is set to begin the field visit today. The 8-member team led by Union Home Ministry Joint Secretary Ashutosh Agnihotri met the Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary Shanmugam and other senior officials in Chennai yesterday. They were briefed about the loss of lives and properties due to the cyclone that crossed the shores on the midnight of November 25th. The central team is represented by officials from the Departments of Agriculture, Highways, Finance, Power, Rural Development, Fisheries and Water Resources besides Home. Meanwhile, the cyclone Burevi that weakened in the Gulf of Mannar has led to the death of 7 people in Tamil Nadu. The state government has announced 10 lakh rupees to the families of each of the victims. More than 1 lakh acres of farmlands remain submerged, mostly in the Delta region. More from a Chennai correspondent.
The central team members are planning to branch out into 2 groups and cover the northern districts of Tamil Nadu, including Chennai and its neighborhood, and Puducherry, which face the fury of nature. After their thorough field inspections and gather first-hand information, the team members are expected to come back to Chennai in a couple of days and meet the senior officials again to get a debriefing. It is learnt that the state government has projected an account of the losses suffered due to the cyclone, including damages to lives, properties and infrastructure. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Information and Broadcasting Ministry has issued an advisory asking all private television broadcasters to follow the guidelines issued by the Advertising Standards Council of India, ASCI, for advertisements relating to online gaming and fantasy sports. The ministry has advised that the advertisements should not promote any activity prohibited by the statute or law. The advisory has been issued after a consultation meeting held by the INB Ministry with the officials and representatives of the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, ASCI, News Broadcasters Association, Indian Broadcasting Foundation, All India Gaming Federation, Federation of Indian Fantasy Sports and the Online Rummy Federation. ASCI guidelines require that every such gaming advertisement must carry a disclaimer that the game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. The disclaimer should occupy at least 20% of the advertisement space. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Divisional Commissioner of Jammu Sanjeev Verma has discussed the measures for revival of agriculture activities on the land on zero line along the international border at a meeting with Deputy Commissioners, DC of the border districts and concerned officers. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the meeting was attended by DC Jammu, Director Agriculture, Assistant Commissioner Jammu, Additional Deputy Commissioner Kathua, AC Central, Custodian Jammu and other concerned officers, while Deputy Commissioner Samba attended the meeting through video conferencing. At the outset, the Divisional Commissioner inquired from the DCs about the cultivated and uncultivated land available in the districts. The concerned DCs apprised the Divisional Commissioner of the total land including cultivated, uncultivated, private and the state land.
The Forest Department of Rajasthan government has sounded a red alert at all reserves, sanctuaries and parks in the state as incidents of hunting, poaching and animal traps have come to the fore. The order comes against the backdrop of a camera trap footage showing a Ranthambore tiger with a wire snare around its neck. All forest officials have been asked to intensify search operations and seek the help of local police to nab hunters and criminals. Forest Department has cancelled leaves of all field officers and directions have been issued for effective patrolling against illegal activities in protected areas.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government assures farmers that procurement at minimum support price MSP will continue. Says mandis and APMC will be strengthened. Interministerial central team to begin visiting cyclone Nivar affected areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry from today. Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 64th Mahaparinirvan Divas. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.28% in the country, and in cricket, India to take on Australia in the second T20 in Sydney today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
To get accurate, reliable and wide coverage of news, tune into AIR News 24/7 and FM Gold and listen to the major bulletins at 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. in English and 8 a.m., 2:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. in Hindi of half an hour each.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते
Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 64th Mahaparinirvan Divas or death anniversary today. A number of functions are being organized all over the country to highlight the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar in the nation building. Eminent dignitaries and parliamentarians will offer tributes to the architect of the Constitution at his statue in the Parliament House complex in New Delhi. Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai has appealed to the followers of Dr. Ambedkar not to crowd Chaitya Bhumi as Mumbai is battling with the coronavirus. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Mahaparinirvan Divas of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is a solemn affair in Maharashtra where tens of thousands of his followers descend at Chaitya Bhumi in Mumbai to pay their tributes to their favorite leader. However, this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Mumbai civic body and the Maharashtra government have appealed people to stay at home and pay tributes. BMC Commissioner Iqbal Singh Chahal has said that all arrangements have been made for the live streaming of the program on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Doordarshan's Sahyadri channel. As a mark of respect, a helicopter will shower flowers on Chaitya Bhumi, the final resting place of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. The films division will also pay a tribute to the great social reformer scholar by screening a biographical documentary on his life and works. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
The father of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, was a jurist, economist, politician and social reformer who campaigned against social discrimination of downtrodden women and labourers. Baba Saheb was conferred the Bharat Ratna posthumously in 1990. Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Baba Saheb's thoughts and ideals continue to give strength to millions. Prime Minister said, we are committed to fulfilling the dreams he had for the nation. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister had said that
6 दिसंबर को बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर की पुण्यतिथि है। ये दिन बाबा साहब को श्रद्धांजलि देने के साथ ही देश के प्रति अपने संकल्पों, संविधान ने एक नागरिक के तौर पर अपने कर्तव्यों को निभाने की जो सीख हमें दी है, उसे दोहराने का।
India's total active caseload has dropped below 4.10 lakh yesterday. The number of active cases is currently at the level of 4,09,689. This is the lowest after 136 days. The total active cases were 4,11,133 on 22nd of July. The Health Ministry in a statement said this has been made possible by the trend of recoveries exceeding new cases, which has ensured a total net reduction of the active caseload. India's present active caseload consists of just 4.26% of the country's total positive cases. The new recoveries have led to a net decline of 6,393 in the total active cases. The daily new recoveries recorded in the country have been more than the daily cases registered from the last 8 days. The ministry said the rising recoveries also improved the country's recovery rate to 94.28% yesterday.
The Uttar Pradesh government has created a new record of testing 2 crore samples for COVID-19. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has ordered setting up of more ICU beds in the state. The Chief Minister was reviewing the unlock process at a high-level meeting in Lucknow yesterday. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
Expressing satisfaction on completing the 2 crore test of COVID-19 in state so far, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that alertness should be maintained against the infection. Chief Minister also reviewed arrangement and storage facilities for upcoming corona vaccine and preparedness of cold chain required for it. Instructing to increase the storage capacity of vaccine to 230,000 liters by December 15, he said that the cold chain arrangement should be made at district and divisional level. He instructed that the police department be well coordinated for arrangements of better safety of vaccines so its timely availability may be ensured. He also instructed to train a large number of master trainers to administer the vaccine. Meanwhile, Chief Minister also launched COVID Test Center Locator app, Mera COVID Kendra yesterday. This app will be quite helpful to people and through the app they could get information of COVID-19 test centers located within a radius of 5 kilometers. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
A total of 3,419 new confirmed cases of coronavirus infection were reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 5,89,000. The Delhi government said that over 5,53,000 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far. In the last 24 hours, 4,916 people recovered and 77 deaths were reported in the city, taking the toll to 9,574. In Bihar, the COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 97.20%. This is 2.92% more than the national average. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said the number of active cases in the state is continuously declining. Mr. Pandey said currently 5,382 patients are undergoing treatment at various hospitals. Maximum 1,911 patients are undergoing treatment in Patna. In all, 728 patients recovered in the last 24 hours, while 573 new cases were reported.
In Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the number of active cases has dipped to 70. Out of the total 4,747 positive cases reported, 4,616 persons recovered. As a result, the recovery rate has reached above 97%, while 61 deaths have been reported so far. Most of the cases are in South Andaman district. The test positivity rate is 3.45. Talking to AIR, Dr. Neeraj Nischal, Assistant Professor at AIIMS, New Delhi, urged the people to get tested for corona without any hesitation.
We are supposed to take care of each other. So if we stigmatize a particular patient, then we are actually doing more harm because that person is not going to come forward. He or she may hide his disease, and in that way, he or she might be actually spreading that disease. So it's our responsibility not to stigmatize such patients, and we should come forward to help those patients.
Ahmedabad-based Zydus Cadila Pharmaceuticals has announced that the company has received an approval from the Drugs Controller General of India DCGI to begin the Phase 3 clinical trials with its biological therapy pegylated interferon alpha-2b PEGI-HEP in COVID-19 patients. PEGI-HEP is an improved drug and is being repurposed for the treatment of COVID-19. According to sources, the trials will be conducted on 250 patients across 25 centres in India during this month. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen instructed their negotiators to resume trade talks today in a last-ditch attempt to bridge significant differences. In a joint statement, the two leaders recognized the seriousness of their differences and said that a further effort should be undertaken by the negotiating teams to assess whether they can be resolved. British and European Union negotiators paused trade talks on Friday to call in their leaders to try to narrow the gaps and get an agreement after a week of negotiations failed to bridge significant divergences between the two sides.
In France, dozens of protesters have clashed with police in capital Paris in fresh demonstrations against a controversial draft security law. Police fired tear gas after protesters smashed shop windows and set several vehicles alight. Rallies also took place in Marseille, Lyon, Lille and other French cities. France has been hit by a wave of street protest after the government introduced a security bill in parliament that set out to increase its surveillance tools and restrict rights on circulating images of police officers in the media and online. US President-elect Joe Biden has formally secured majority of electoral college votes, with California certified his victory in the state. California appointed 55 electors pledged to vote for Democrat Joe Biden, officially handing him the electoral college majority needed to win the White House. Secretary of State Alex Padilla's formal approval of Biden's win in the state brought his tally of pledged electors so far to 279, which is just over the 270 threshold for victory. The last rites of Lakshadweep Administrator Dineshwar Sharma were performed with full state honours at Gaya in Bihar yesterday. Sharma passed away on Friday at the age of 66 at a Chennai hospital due to a lung-related ailment. A 1976 batch IPS officer of the Kerala cadre, Sharma also served as Director of Intelligence Bureau from 2014 to 2017. He had also served as interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir. Jharkhand has become the latest state to go for option 1 to meet the revenue shortfall arising out of GST implementation. Jharkhand will get 1,689 crore rupees through special borrowing window to meet the GST implementation shortfall. Permission to raise additional 1,765 crore rupees through borrowings has also been issued to Jharkhand. With this, all the 28 states and 3 union territories with legislature have decided to go for option 1.
In cricket, India will take on hosts Australia in the second encounter of the three-match 2020 series in Sydney today. The match will begin at 1:40 p.m. India defeated Australia by 11 runs in the first T20 match in Canberra on Friday to take a 1-0 lead in the series. Indian players will be looking forward to extending their winning streak and aiming to seal the series today. Ravindra Jadeja, who was hit on the helmet in the final over on Friday, has been ruled out of the remaining series due to a concussion. He will be replaced by fast bowler Shardul Thakur for the second and the third T20s. The ball-by-ball commentary of the match will be broadcast on FM Rainbow, Rajdhani, PB YouTube and other channels of All India Radio Delhi. It can be heard from 1:15 p.m. till the end of the match.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have shallow fog with temperature varying between 12 and 28 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will vary between 18 and 34 degrees Celsius. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunderstorm. The temperature will hover between 21 and 24 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will witness partly cloudy sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 degrees. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 1 degree Celsius and 8 degrees. In Jammu, minimum temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be 24 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky. In Leh, the minimum temperature will be -7 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 4 degrees. It will have generally cloudy sky. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky with temperature hovering between 1 degree Celsius to 13 degrees. Muzaffarabad will have generally cloudy sky. The temperature will move from 6 to 18 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 25 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear sky. Chandigarh will also have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to move from 12 to 25 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 30 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will witness a clear sky. The minimum temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 34 degrees. Patna will have fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Temperature will hover between 12 degrees Celsius to 26 degrees. And Guwahati will have fog or mist in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. The minimum temperature will be 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 28 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Coronavirus stories dominate newspapers this morning. Active caseload lowest in 136 days, writes the Sunday Statesman. Cleared in UK, Pfizer first in India to apply for emergency use, notes the Sunday Express. India said to be the largest buyer of vaccines, reports the Hindu. PM to lay foundation stone for the new Parliament building on December 10th, informs the Sunday Express. On the upcoming West Bengal polls, the Asian Age writes, BJP plans manifesto of the people, adding document to have feedback from all 78,000 booths in 294 seats. Centre's GST formula accepted by all states, reports Hindustan Times. Convicts to compensate victims of crime in Delhi. Court appointed group to assess trauma, informs the Hindu. And finally, the Sunday Times reports that obesity-linked problems have hit 40% of kids since lockdown.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government assures farmers that procurement at minimum support price will continue, says Mandis and APMC will be strengthened. Inter-ministerial central team to begin visiting Cyclone Nivar affected areas of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry from today. Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 64th Mahaparinirvan Divas. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.28% in the country. And in cricket, India to take on Australia in the second 2020 in Sydney today. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.